um, all that glitters is not gold. Um, and there's an ugly side to the women or the so-called women that black men date or get or whatever, whether they're black, white, it doesn't really matter. Um, the pro, yeah, you know what I mean. The dude was getting chicks. I mean, that's pretty much every dude's fantasy, right? If you go back in time, he probably had dudes talking about, yeah, I wish I could have all the girls in this village, or the young hot girls in the village. I mean, it is what it is. But the con, um, and this con is a major reason to why a lot of black men have commitment issues, is because a lot of the women that are attracted to black men tend to be oversexed, right? Now I'm gonna start with non-black women. Um, this is so because their culture doesn't provide any provisions for women being over or hypersexual, right? I've seen it before. If an Asian chick is into black men, I can put money on it that, you know what, she engages in premarital sex and she has casual sex, right? And she feels free to, have multiple partners, right? Why? Because her culture doesn't allow for that, right? Now, she was cultured in the sense that, I'm Chinese and I embrace my Chinese heritage. She's not going to be engaging in those activities. Therefore, she's not going to desire or want black men, right? So if I see a Chinese chick on some yeah I love black dudes, the first thing that pops up in my mind is, okay, you know what I mean? She gets down. Same thing with white. Same thing with Hispanic. It is what it is, right? Look at Kim Kardashian. I know that's, I don't know if I should use this as an example, but, who is she with? Ray J, now Reggie Bush, right? Is she going to get with a traditional, what is it, Persian? Is she going to get with a traditional Persian man? Probably not, because their culture doesn't embrace that. But if she was on some shit where I embrace my Persianness and all the cultural norms and that shit, she wouldn't want Reggie Bush, and she never would have made the sex tape with Ray J. Right? And it's a con because no man, I don't care who he is, wants to marry a woman who's oversexed. It is what it is. Now, if you're a woman and that doesn't bother you, then hey, that's your choice. But if you took a poll of all the world's men, right, a strong majority would not want to marry a woman who has an elaborate sexual history that includes casual sex. Pure and simple, right? It's a pro because you're getting some. It's a con because you don't want to marry that. And that's the dilemma to being a black man, because that's what you get, right? It is what it is. I mean, think about it. I'll even use the whole, are black men jealous because black women are dating white men? Honestly, that's a truthful statement to a small amount, to a small degree, excuse me, because a black woman knows she has to be a certain way in order for her to be accepted by him, right? In my knowledge, or in my history, in terms of seeing black women with white men, the women were always smart, intelligent, they were always reserved, they kind of had a sense of pride, they kind of had a sense of, I don't know, self-respect. Now, I'm not saying, oh, that's the case for all of them. I'm talking about the ones that I know of personally, that I can name names and show pictures of, right? They didn't engage in certain behaviors. They didn't really degrade themselves. They were in the library reading. They were doing this. They were doing that. Yet, for us, I'm not trying to say that, you know, we didn't get those girls either, because they were around, but we got those, and we got the ones who, you know, got trained last night, and that's some foul shit. Yeah, we got those, right? We get the ones with kids, right? We get the ones that, you know, carry condoms in their purse. Like, we get the oversexed ones. And like I said, it's cool to get some if that's what you were about. But if you're on some different shit and you're trying to, like, you know, build a solid relationship, then you don't want that. So that's why you hear a lot of black men complaining. And it took me a while to think about this on my own, just in terms of, you know, putting shit together and, you know, piecing that shit together. But that, it is what it is. It's the pro and con. So in conclusion, yes, black men are found desirable, but the con is the women that desire black men tend to be oversexed. And no man wants to have a long-term committed relationship with a woman that they know to have been oversexed, and quite frankly probably is still oversexed. So tell me how you feel, you know, share your thoughts.